Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to another beautiful morning here in Butschern, Farming Simulator 22. So, since we last left off, a couple things have happened. One, 1.7.1 update has come out, which is pretty cool. Had a few miscellaneous improvements. Added the Valtra series of tractors, which I'm not a huge Valtra fan, but I do think they look pretty cool though. And I certainly don't mind using them. Maybe eventually we'll get to throwing in a Valtra here on the farm. I think they're pretty slick looking, actually. But anyways, gave us some Valtra tractors. We also got that added extra bonus of having to rebuild our shader cache. Yay! Um, my favorite thing in the world to do. Now, I am of the opinion, and I may be very alone in this opinion. I honestly don't know, and the IT person in me wants to kind of find out if there's any truth to this, or if it's just a placebo effect. But whenever Giants updates the game, I go in and I remove the shader cache and I start from scratch. And I think I do this because I had a bad experience one time where I was not able to get the game to run smoothly after an update, and I ended up deleting the shader cache and it fixed all the problems. And maybe that's what has caused that little riff of paranoia in me now. But long story short, actually, long story has already been kind of long. I have done the whole rebuild shader cache, run around the map, fly around the map, get in and out of tractors, all that fun stuff. So I think we're in pretty good shape. There might be a little bit of glitchy here and there, but I think overall it looks like it has been rebuilt fairly well. It's back to, I usually look at the shader cache and mine usually sits around, I think it sits around 120, 130 meg, something like that on average. But anyways, another thing that we left off was we just finished liming both of our grass fields. I did go ahead and finish planting. Um, is that field one down yonder? Yeah, this guy down here with barley. So we have 1 and 6 of barley and 10, I believe is canola. And let me ask you something. Is it just my imagination, or has the red for needs plowing, has that did Giants change that a little bit, like so it's a little not so dark red? Or am I just imagining things? That's quite possible. Anyways, that being said, look what needs plowing. Both of our grass fields. So I did a little pondering. Do we want to stop now and plow both of our grass fields before we fertilize? Or do we want to just move onward and upward? Immediately, I'm thinking move onward and upward because we have a tiny plow, number one. Number two, I did find this little guy buried back here in this little barn that I always forget we even have. And that is a grass roller. So here's my thought. Let's go ahead and fertilize our grasslands. Let's roll them out since when did we cut them? We're gonna lose a day now. I think, what are they on their first stage of growth, second stage of growth? Yeah, we're gonna get knocked back a stage of growth by rolling, and that's not something I generally enjoy doing. But let's see what kind of yield. Expected yield right now is on this field is very good, 107%, and yield potential is 125. So the soil, at least where we're standing, this loam, that's correct, right? Yeah, yeah, that's treating us quite well. If we head over here, is it over here? Yeah, look how far that went down. So expected yield went down to 87, and we have 100% expected yield in the sandy loam. And I think if we go over further. Is it this corner? Yeah. Down to 70% expected and 80% yield potential. So no doubt, you know, loamy sand is pretty poor. And if we look over on our other grass field, fortunately, the majority of it is loam and silty clay, which should produce a higher yield values for us. Let's see, where are we at? So we are, oh, that's right. So silty clay, not so great. But this should bump up. Yep, there we go, to 107 and 125 once we get into our loam. And then we move further down our field. 87, 100, 70, 80. So that's kind of my thoughts. Is fertilize, roll. I don't think it matters what order. I don't think at this point. Let's fertilize and roll. The only other thing that plowing will do for us is we'll get rid of that weed potential. At least I think it's for, if you plow, do you not get weeds for one growth season? I forget. And I think plowing, though, is like it's a pretty substantial bonus hit, isn't it? Like 10% or something? All right. Enough yapping. And we need to get to doing. So I went ahead and I filled up our spreader here with solid fertilizer. We had a little bit of, is this the lime? Yeah, we had a little bit of lime that came out of it right here. But we have quite a bit of solid fertilizer. Oh, did you get knocked over? Quite a bit of solid fertilizer left over from something I did. I can't even remember. I must have filled something up and not needed it. And I was reminded that we also have these 3 silage bales sitting here, but we do have silage still fermenting in our bunker silo. I think it's like only at like 5% right now, so that's going to take a little while to complete up for us. So, yeah. So you're caught up to my thinking. I'll tell you what, excuse me, when I first, excuse me, when I first got into the game today, I got very nervous. Excuse me. I got very nervous. I thought I had made a very big mistake. I was looking at our bale barn and I didn't see any silage in it. And I was absolutely convinced that, oh, I'm so glad this is not taking nearly as much fertilizer as it does lime. I was very much convinced that I had screwed up and dumped a bunch of wrapped bales in there before the fermentation was complete. And I thought I just completely ruined all that work of getting silage done on the bales. And then it dawned on me that, yeah, that we decided to do the bunker silo instead. And I hadn't made a colossal mistake. So that was nice. I think I'm getting confused between my farms, between Butschern and Kubota. And if you're following the Kubota farm, that's where all my wrapped bales are. It's a nice indoor view, isn't it? This thing needs some serious washing, though. It is limed central, isn't it? I am missing the border over there. Let me scooch over so I don't miss any more than I have to. That's kind of a satisfying look, isn't it? Spreading fertilizer like this and having the having the game just change the ground texture for us. Something ultimately calming about that. See, here I am again missing. I'm not paying attention. I'll come back and get that little bit. I'm so happy though that the amount of fertilizer being used up is not near the amount of lime we went through. I was thinking we were going to be filling up our sloped bottom container trailer. Let's fertilize our little slurry tank there. So I hope you all are having a really good week so far. Boy, Labor Day came and went super quick, didn't it? I hope you all stayed safe and had an enjoyable time, relaxing time. But here we are, it's Wednesday, halfway through the week. It's going to be a short work week or school week for some of you, which is nice. The weekend will be here before you know it. I am looking around at different games. So if you have any suggestions on what you would like to see on the channel, I would be more than happy to listen to those. There are certain games I just don't really play and probably won't ever be on the channels. I'll tell you right now, like I am not a strategy game playing person. I don't like turn-based stuff. To be honest, I am mostly into simulators. I do like some. I like first-person shooters. If you want to have a good time watching somebody, well, with the reflexes of a I don't know, a turtle, play first-person shooters, I can do that, no doubt. I like games oftentimes that are kind of funny or have interesting storylines. I'm playing Farmer's Life right now. That might be a little bit slow for some of you, but it is a lot of fun to see the kind of trouble old Casimir's having. I have played on my own Mon Bazou. I played that. I haven't picked it up in a while, but I was into Mon Bazou for a while. If any of you have had a chance to check out Dre's channel, D-R-A-E, just be warned up front that a little more colorful language than you're going to get on this channel. But he is pretty funny, and he does play a lot of simulation games, and I do watch his channel and to get some ideas too on games that I might want to play even before I started recording on YouTube. And so yeah, if you have a chance, D-R-A-E, I think he's Canadian. His Mon Bazou series is quite entertaining. He does have some farming simulator content, but he tends to not like play through things all the way for a lot of games. A lot of games he'll kind of play through maybe 2 or 3 episodes and call it. I think depending on the popularity of the game may last a little bit longer, but he does have a few episodes of Farming Simulator that are pretty entertaining. Power Washer Simulator, he's played, you know, things like that. Car Mechanic Simulator. So yeah, he's a big simulator fan as well. I do enjoy his, BenQ, the driving. That's something I want to pick up and actually do some content on. I am fascinated by that game. It looks to be a blast, and that you might see some content on the channel for BenQ. Trying to think of anything else that might be kind of fun to throw out here, and just odds and ends here and there. You know, I've got a few episodes of some old school Plants vs. Zombies, stuff like that I might throw out there. Just anything I'm playing, I bring y'all along. You know, if you want to watch, cool. You know, if it doesn't tickle your fancy, then you know, you don't have to. That's cool. not everybody is into the same, you know, games and stuff as everybody else. So a little variety sometimes doesn't hurt either. I'll try some different things because sometimes I'll get surprised by maybe something that I didn't think I would like that much. Ends up being a game that I really enjoy. Let us go fill up our fertilizer tank. I did throw a front weight on the old Massey too, by the way, because it was having a fun time skidding around there without a front weight. Let's open up our bonnet. Oh, you know what? Back up. I don't want to do that. Let's go over here. I'm glad that didn't fill for me. I actually want to hop on out, and I want to use up the solid fertilizer that we have here. Don't tell anybody. We're just gonna use a little super strength. I like this too. Oh, that was a not a very full one, was it? Let's see how much this one's got. Yeah, it's kind of turn it. You can have it filling that way too if you want. Kind of mid-air fill. Ooh, filling in the sky. There we go. Where does that put us? Oh, not bad. 86%. I think that's all the solid fertilizer leftovers we have, so that'll work. Get it in gear. Put it in gear, Brad. All right, let's scooch on over here this time, and maybe I can line it up properly. And that gets us to 100%. Top it off, and let's scooch on out of here. I saw one of the fixes. This was curious to me, and I thought I'd heard about this, but I'm curious what they did to fix it. For PlayStation console players, the Logitech wheel apparently wasn't working, and it's just now getting fixed. Now, I don't know if that's a problem that has been there since day one, but that sounds stinko. You know, if you've got a wheel, if you've got a Logitech wheel, and yeah, and you want to, you definitely want to use it. This is, yeah, okay. And you weren't able to use it since day one, the game release? Yeah, that would kind of stink. I mean, I know a lot of people use game controllers. I've tried game controllers before, an Xbox controller. And I think it's alright. I prefer wheel and pedals. But that being said, I probably should have used... Oh, I don't have GPS anyways. Can you all see... Can you all see where it's been spread? Hold on a second. Yeah, I mean, it's clearly going down. It's just hard to see, and it's definitely soaking up the fertilizer a lot more than the other field, isn't it? I think we're gonna have to eyeball this. I don't have GPS installed in this tractor, and we definitely don't have the 12 or 15 grand that it costs to throw on here. I think we probably could. We might have GPS on the John Deere or the other Massey. We'll make do. Miss a little spot, we'll make do. Does it does. I was gonna say, maybe we get some little more instant feedback from our little side map there. And I would say it's probably, if it's not, if it hasn't become evident yet, to those of you watching, I'm not particularly particular about every square centimeter or inch of my fields being absolutely perfect. I think there was a time in my farming simulator life that I was much more uptight about that and would absolutely, you know, make absolutely sure that, you know, the corners were perfect and everything else. And I don't know. I think I figured out I think I figured out at one point that the extra probably $10 or $20 that it, you know, just didn't make up for it. I think we're in pretty good shape here though. Let's take a quick peek. Yeah, we're in pretty good shape there. And we did fertilize. Now that's interesting, isn't it? I guess it's just because of the soil color differences. We did both the grasslands though, right? Why does that seem like it's not right? We have to head over to our other fields anyways. So we did this grassland. Yeah, that's good. Okay. Let's go see if we can knock out, what is it, field 6 and 1 and 6, is it? Oh, uh-oh. U-turn. We're definitely not going to have enough fertilizer, though, to tackle that job, that's for sure. Looking for other ideas, too, for farming simulator videos. I did that one where I did 100% silage. I think, was it Maypole Farm? I'm kind of forgetting which farm I did it on, but I wanted to see how much you could make if you did every field 100% silaged out, and it was a lot of cash. I mean, no joking around kind of cash, and it's a lot of work though. A lot of work. I bought several Big M mowers. I think I had, if I remember correctly, I think I had $7 million in hardware or in implements and stuff to do the work. If I remember correct. Is that right? I think so. But it was worth it. I mean, at the end of the day, made a lot of cash. And that's not a map I'm playing or anything. I was just super curious to see, you know, if you wanted to be a grass farmer. And I think I played it on, I don't remember if it was easy though. It might have been on easy. I think I gave myself the advantage of having it on easy mode. Can't recall though. I can't recall what I had for breakfast yesterday, so the chances of me remembering that video are probably slim to none. Love the sound of these tractors when you're driving inside. Kind of hear the rattle. Yeah. You know, it just adds to the game, right? It's like if they were dead silent, you just heard the engine noise, it would just kind of be like, But you know you're going to get some rattling around from the equipment and stuff, so. Speaking of, I was checking out Mike, boy, see now I'm going to forget his name, but Canadian farmer, I've talked about him before. And it made me happy that there are some things in Farming Simulator that aren't that realistic. To be honest, I know that a lot of us love, you know, the more realism the better, and we want this and that, and we want better, you know, mud textures and different things like that, you know, like Mud Runner or Snow Runner. But in this case, I am quite thankful that Giants has not made this very realistic. I think there were 3, possibly 4 combines that were out harvesting. All John Deeres, not that that matters, but it was kind of cool to see 4 John Deere, big combines, mind you, out in this field harvesting away. Most of them quite full, by the way. And it started pouring. And I mean out of nowhere, basically. I mean, they saw some clouds, but they definitely did not look like heavy thunderstorm clouds, but they were. And it started absolutely torrential pouring on these poor guys. And I think there was a girl there too that was driving one of the combines. They didn't show her, but I could hear her talking on one of the CVs. It was kind of funny to listen to what she was saying, but anyways, absolutely wrecked. The top, I don't know, like maybe what, 4 or 5 inches of every one of their grain hoppers was just caked wheat. All of their pipes were plugged. They were all smoking. I guess there's a belt that runs that auger system, and it was just smoking. I think they blew one belt, but they were trying to get as much unloaded as they could, but it was just a wheat cake mess, and I felt horrible for him. But, and you know, he made a good point. He made a comment like, for all the work that they're going to have to do, you know what, I think we can go this way to get to our next field. I always go around the BGA, but I think we can go this way. For all the work that it's going to take them now to shovel out the hoppers, at least to the point where they can get down to the dry stuff. In fact, I don't know, they may even have to shovel out more than that at this point, but it's going to be a lot of work. 4 combines. I think that's where I want to go, right there. And they should have just dumped it on the ground, he said. They would have been better off. As soon as it started pouring the way it was, they would have been better off just dumping on the ground. Which, you know, what farmer wants to do that? But the amount of work they're going to have to go through, and it's like at least 3, there might have even been 4 combines that they have to do this for. And they closed the covers on the ones that they could close the covers on because they were pretty full. But those covers are not, unfortunately, you know, they're not watertight. And by the time they got the covers closed, I guess the water, he showed how the top layer of the wheat was like super caked, drenched kind of stuff. And then once you got below that, it was, you know, very, very dry. I guess most of the water just runs down the sides of the hopper bin, and yeah, it was a mess. It was an absolute mess. But life of a farmer, right? And those are the things that I like to watch those these farming channels, because it's cool to see, one, some of the accuracy that we have in Farming Simulator compared to what farmers actually have to do. Sometimes I'm actually kind of surprised at how accurate the game has it too, for compared to real life farming, especially the equipment. Giants nails it right on the equipment, and so do a lot of modders, giving them credit. But yeah, Giants nails it on the equipment. And some of the things that I kind of chuckle on that I see, that's like, oh yeah, I did that. I had to do that the other day, you know, on a map when I was bailing or doing this. I think it would be kind of interesting to have some more realism on some things. I talked about this on yesterday's episode on Kubota Farms. There is one particular thing I would really like to see Giants be able to improve on, is their repair and repaint system. To me, it's, at this point, to me, it's just become kind of a, I don't know, a thing you do, you know. I don't repaint until I sell anything because I don't think it's worth the money. It's very expensive. But, and you do recoup it. In fact, I think you recoup it and then some, right? When you sell. But as far as repairing goes, it's kind of just obligatory. You know, it's like, oh, yeah, okay, I'll walk around and I'll repair all my vehicles, and just something I do, you know. Like licking a stamp, put it on an envelope. I'm just going to walk around and repair my vehicles. And I think it'd be nice to make it more interactive, more, I don't know if I have the answer, but I maybe there is a mod that will make your equipment break down. That's a start. I'd like to see repairs be a little bit more specific to what would cause repairs. Like, I think in general, you're going to have oil changes and different, you know, common maintenance like that. But I think it would be kind of cool to just have Giants build on that repair, repaint whole thing, you know. Anyways, we have fertilized. That actually went pretty well. 1, 6, and 10 are all now fertilized. Yeah, I do see that. It does kind of bug me a little bit. Not going to lie to you. A little bit irritated by that, but you know what? Yeah, you know what I'm going to do. We'll do this on our way out. Episode's just about over anyways, so let's just go and see, build a little bit more of the shader cache down here. I don't know how much time I spent down here, so I'll just use this as an excuse to build that up. Do you all know, I'm curious, do you all know of any other games where you have to, where are we going while I'm yapping here? Okay, yeah. Do you all know of any other games like Farming Simulator where you go around and you take time to rebuild the shader cache? I was thinking about this, and I don't have any other games that I need to do that. Now, granted, there's other games, of course, a lot of games, in fact, maybe every game uses shader cache to some degree, but most of them I just kind of play and do it. But Farming Simulator, I completely messed that up. But for some reason, Farming Simulator, this is not my field either, Brad. What are you doing? Busy yapping, busy jaw jacking. Anyways, I just thought, you know, kind of unique, kind of a unique thing. All for the love of the game. Farming Simulator is kind of part of the family for me, you know. I love its quirks. Just had enough to maybe fill that little spot, and that's where we're going to leave it. But yeah, I like its quirks. I'm not one of those players that gets irate when something weird happens in the game that shouldn't happen. I actually usually get kind of a chuckle out of it and take a snapshot and show my friends or whatever. I like the quirkiness of the game. I like I guess the good parts of the game. You kind of get to know it, right? After playing so many different versions of it, you kind of just, you grow with it, you know. And I still remember every time, you know, and I'm sure you guys have all heard this too. When a new version comes out, you know, you'll always hear things from players that have been around a while. Oh, I wonder if Giants fixed this. Like, remember for the longest time, if you've been around Farm Sim, you used to come inside the barn and it would rain in the barn. You'd see the same rain outside as you would in the barn. And I still remember, I think it was 19 or 17. I can't remember if it was 19 or 17. They fixed that. And I was like, oh my gosh, that is so cool. Now you can actually, it can be raining outside and the rain's not coming through the barn roof. And the other thing that used to always drive me a little crazy, to be honest with you, but they fixed it now, which is super nice. When you be in your tractor looking down, driving through a cornfield, you'd see the stalks of corn flying up through the bottom of the tractor at you. And that was just something else again that was just kind of one of those farming simulator things, you know. Like we would drive through here and you would see that tall grass straight through the bottom of the tractor. Well, that's no more. So there's little things like that that, you know, you remember back and some fondness. Maybe both a little fondness and a little disgust. Is my super strength on? Yeah, it is. Hey, and look, into the episode, and look what I remembered to do this time. I turned the clock on. So for once, I can actually save the thing and not have to go back and add 30 plus minutes onto our timer. Hey, thank you all again so much for joining me today. I do really appreciate it. And we will be back soon. I know tomorrow, Thursday morning, is a Kubota episode. A lot of cool stuff going on there, so I'm looking forward to that one. And hopefully see you all there too. Stay safe. Take care of each other. Take care of yourselves. God bless, and I will see you. I'll see you very soon. Thanks. Bye bye.